Relationship skills are the only skills, Barb, the only skills, or the first skills from which everything else stems. Talk to me about that.
Well, you said it. What I wish people understood is that, I kind of have a new mantra that I'm working on, that I'm noodling on in my head, and it basically says, "Show me your success, and I'll tell you the level of your relationships." Right? Like at the end of the
Yeah.
day, everyone needs to understand that the success you have, whether it's in business, whether it's in life, whether it's happiness, truly boils down to the power and level and depthness of your relationships. It all comes down to relationships, and in the container of three-way: relationships with ourselves, relationships with others, and then relationships in business.
Yeah. We hear it ad nauseum. In fact, I think the zeitgeist, what's circulating in society right now is relationships is over indexing, I believe. It's always been important. It's always been talked about. But with social media, isolation, loneliness, mental health challenges, relationships has been a vehicle or talked about as a way to mitigate that, heal that, not necessarily be a cure-all or a magic bullet, but it can be spoken about ad nauseum. Talk to us about, for the everyday person on our podcast, and hello to our listeners, by the way. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining us for the first time. Love us, like us, as always. Comment on where you see your challenges in relationships or where they've been a source for great success for you. Dial us into how you define it.
That's interesting. It's an interesting question, because here's where I think we get it wrong before I even define it. We get it wrong in taking our relationships for granted. I think at the end of the day, everyone knows, you said it, everyone knows it's about relationships. Like I always say, at the end of every book, at the end of every keynote I've heard, maybe not every keynote, but a lot of keynotes I've heard, messages, blog posts, social media content, someone's teaching you a gimmick, someone's teaching you a strategy, someone's teaching you a dialogue, they're teaching you the get rich quick scheme, right? The thing everybody wants. And then typically they'll say at the end of that statement, but at the end of the day, it's really all about relationships, right? So I always say, I'm not telling anybody something that they don't already know. The problem is we take them for granted. The problem is that we don't understand what a real relationship is, to your original question. And in my opinion, a real relationship is one that's built on authenticity, vulnerability, trust, those tangible things that you can't put a dollar amount or value on, right?
Yeah.
You have a relationship when you have a relationship. And you also know when you really don't have a relationship that you want, or you think you have that relationship that you really don't have.
Yeah. Seems like, correct me here when I'm wrong. If somebody trusts you, which is part of what you just said, they're going to connect and tell you things that are meaningful and important to them. It doesn't have to be, sitting down Indian style and, cross-legged and braiding our hair and telling our deepest, darkest secrets. But on the inverse, if you trust them and respect them, you'll do the same.